Okay, here we are now at exercise 8-4. And what the author wants us to do now is create an identical profile, but we're going to be adding more information in it. The more information we're going to be adding in it are some ribbons down here with some more information. He calls them, they're called bands actually. Okay, now I guess we cannot go ahead and add the bands at this level without recreating another profile view. And so that's kind of the need why we have to do that. So the nice part about it is that we've already pumped in the information. We've pumped in the information for our proposed center line, and we've sampled the left, right, and the center of the existing. So it's just a matter of bringing in a new profile. Basically, what that means is we have a basket. We've already put the information in there. The same information is going to create another basket, okay? And then we're going to delete this basket right here, the initial basket that we created. And what I mean by basket is profile view, okay? So let's go ahead and let's look at 8-4, and we want to go to profiles, and we want to hit the profile view. Now, this was different than what we did before. We hit create profile from surface, where we set up all the data to create the profile view. But now we're just going to go straight to profile view. And we go here, and this window opens up for us. And we want to go to the data bands, okay? And the data band set that we want to use is a profile data and geometry. Okay? Now down here, let's see. I think one of these we need to change. No, maybe we're good. Okay, now what exercise 8-4 asks us to do is to recreate the profile with different styles. Okay, so what the goal for the next profile that we're going to put in here, which is identical to this one, is that the next one will have some bands down here, okay, some additional information. And author thinks it's valuable for us to go ahead and learn how to manipulate some of that stuff. So anyway, so what we want to do is we want to go up to profiles, and we want to create profile view. Now before we created the profile view from the create profile from surface menu, but now since the profile view contains all the information we need, all we need to do is recreate the view. Okay, if you understand that. So the view is like a basket, and all these not contour lines, but all these profiles are what's in the contents of the basket. So since we have the contents of the basket already or sampled, we now want to create another view, another basket to put them in there as well. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's the only way I can really understand it. So let's go ahead and say create profile view. The author then asks us to change the description here, and he asks us for new profile view. I'm just going to type in new profile view. Okay, and I think he added some other stuff, but that's fine. And what we want to do is look at data bands. Okay, let's go here, and I think we're okay with the data bands. Oh no, we want to change the data bands to profile data and geometry. Okay, and that's what we want, and that's what we want them on the bottom. Okay, so create the profile view, and let's just place it on top of the one we had just previously created. Now look at the bands that came in. They are different. Now this profile is different than the previous one that I'm kind of like circling here, but basically all the information is the same. They look identical with the exception of the bands. I'm just going to go ahead and move this up a little bit. Just grab it anywhere and scoot it up. Okay, so now if we take a look at what's going on down here on the bottom, what's it telling us? It's telling us that the horizontal geometry is represented by this line, and the vertical geometry, which is the existing, is represented by all these little squiggly lines. And typically when you're designing, you tend to want to follow, if you put a curve in, you want to see what the vertical is doing as well, so you can kind of see a quick look at what the horizontal alignment and the vertical alignment are doing. But since this is the existing down here, the one with all these little squiggly lines, it doesn't really do us a whole lot of good. What we want to do is replace this, these squiggly lines, with the geometry of the proposed alignment, the vertical alignment. Okay, so the way we do that is we go ahead and right-click Profile View Properties, and we scoot on over to bands, and I was already there. Okay, and let's see. Okay, we don't want to add any more, but we want to scoot down to vertical geometry. And rather than existing ground, remember I was talking about the how the existing ground was shown in those squiggly lines. We want to now choose the layout we created. Okay, now as I've been practicing, I've been creating these layouts, and you might have even more layouts than I do. I just have two, the layout 1 and layout 2. Now, Civil 3D keeps track of these, even though I've deleted them. For some reason, it keeps track of them. So I'm going to pick the first one, and I'm just going to guess to see if I have the correct one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and apply, say OK, and nothing appeared. So apparently I had erased one and had recreated it. So my only option is layout 5. So let's go back to Profile View Properties, and let's go back to Profile 1, and then right here, and let's choose the 5. Okay, now this is a really advanced technique. Okay, a lot of designers don't even use that. Okay, let's zoom back out. Notice it changed now. Well, maybe I was too hasty. Zoom back in here. This is the vertical geometry, horizontal geometry on top. And what we're seeing is, in comparison, we're seeing as the horizontal geometry is, we have radiuses and curves in there, we can see what the vertical is doing as well, kind of side by side. A quick look, okay? And you can see this this hump right here, it models what's going on in the profile, and this sag right here, that's a crest, this sag right here emulates what's going on here. And if we were to line the horizontal alignment up with this, we can see where we have all the curves for the horizontal alignment as well. Okay, hopefully that didn't confuse you too much. As I said, this is a pretty advanced technique, and you really don't use it unless you're an advanced designer. So that's not that important. Okay, let's move on to 8-5. Okay, here we are in exercise 8.5. And 8.5, excuse me, I'm catching a cold, and I'm sorry if I sound a little funky. Funkier than usual, right? Okay, anyway, I went ahead and erased the previous profile, and now we just have the new profile that we created, okay? But if we take a look at this carefully, we notice that there's no slopes on the proposed tangents in between the vertical curves. Okay, so we need to change that. We do have information on the vertical curves, but there's none on the tangents. So a way to fix that is, let's go to Settings, and we'll go to Profiles, and we'll go to Label Styles, and since these are the lines, we're going to choose the lines. Now note that we have grade breaks, and we have stations, and we have label sets and curves, and each one of those defines the different elements of what a vertical profile consists of. So in other words, the curves will be these vertical curves will be controlled by the styles of the curves, but right now we want to deal with the line. So let's go and look at the lines, and finish ground is what we're looking at. Right click, edit, and all of a sudden this window pops up, and what we want to do, the author asks us to go ahead and change the text height to, let's go to layout, text height to 0.2. That's kind of tall, but let's go ahead and change it. 0.2, and there you go. Just notice how they grew there. Okay, and another thing the author wanted us to change was the Y offset, and let's see, I don't know why he wants to change it to 0.2, but we'll go ahead and do it. And he wants us to make the text green, which is fine. Okay, so once we're done with that, we just hit OK and accept that. And you know, I've been working with the same drawing from the beginning. I haven't done what the author asks us to do, is to pick different drawings as we move along. Right now for 8-5, we should be on chapter 8-C. So so this line work color may have changed, okay? And I still have the original from when I first started the project, so mine might look a little different. His instructions are to now select the blue proposed line profile line work in the profile view and then right click edit. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick the red one, right click edit labels. Let's see, there we go, and up comes this window. And now what I want to do is, notice there's a crest. I got to get right in between there. Okay, crest curves and sag curves. How do I explain what this window does? Let's say this window was completely blank. There was nothing in here, just type, okay? What I could do is I can fill this in with different type of label geometry, you know, that I require, and I select those from this list here. So somebody went ahead and entered in crest curves, and then they went ahead and selected sags and sag curves, and they went ahead and added after each one of those. That's why they're in here now. So we're going to do the same thing with lines. So we go lines, and we hit add, and now they're there. Okay, so the style that's assigned to the lines are the finished. And remember, we went ahead and modified those. We made the text height larger, and then we made the offset. So once we have that, let's go ahead and apply. Well, first, before I leave this window, I hope if you don't understand what this does, come and get me and I'll try to explain it to you. Okay? So once we have that done, let's just hit OK. And now look, the text is on the lines. Okay? And that's exactly what we wanted. Okay? It's 0.2 high text, and it's off of the line by 0.2 as well. Okay, here I am at exercise 8 I think 6, right? Yeah, 6. And what the author wants to demonstrate is the ripple through effect while working with the alignments and how it affects the profile if you graphically change the alignment. Now I did this in the pre-week 6 pre-chapter 8 video, and I demonstrated that at length, but I'm going to go ahead and do it again. So what I want to do is first of all just change the viewports. I want to split the screen. That way we can see what's going on. Okay, there we go. I'm going to zoom in tight into this profile, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in at the beginning of our project here. So I'm going to zoom in right there. So the ripple through effect basically says or means that if I move the geometry, the respective profile should move along with it, since again both there's symbiotic, that the profile is controlled by the alignment. So let me go ahead and move the alignment, and notice the profile changed. I'm going to scoot it up even higher. Changed again. Okay, so you see how the ripple through effect works. Okay, let's move on to let's see, it would now be exercise 8-7.